Hi everyone, I'm back with another active tip. This time we're going to be dealing with more advanced features of the concept of containers. And I'm going to be able to show you a couple examples, especially for you math teachers. I'm going to show you how you can set up containers to accept numbers. So let's take a look at this. Well, here's an example of what I'm going to be showing you today. What is my zip code? I just wanted to put in some numbers. My zip code is 1. So when I grab this 1, it's going to stay. 9, my next number. So when I grab it, oh yeah, there's a reward sound. So I'm going to grab a 9 and place it up here. Again, I assigned a reward sound. Now again, if it's wrong, it's going to spit it back out. And let's go over how I did this. Okay, I started out by taking my text tool and let's go back to black. Font 24 is fine. And I just started typing the numbers. Okay. Okay, all my numbers 0 through 9, and again, make sure that you do them as separate text boxes so that they're individual. Okay, you can't just type in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. You have to have separate text boxes, so these are all individual. Okay, what I want to do is go to my browser and pin it open. Okay, now again, if your browser's not there, just go to View Browser. I'm going to pin this open, and I'm actually going to go to the icon that looks like a piece of paper. It's called your property browser. And I'm actually going to select all my numbers. Just going to drag it through them and have them select every single number. And what I want to do is, you want to make sure you look under the category of container, and you want to make sure that this says true. So the only thing we need to do with the numbers is set return if not contained to true. Okay. By default, it's false, so you want to change that to true. And what that basically means is when I drag a number, it's going to return it right back to, because it's not contained in the container. We're going to set up the actual container in a little while. Okay. Now also, one other thing that we're going to do with these numbers, because most likely you want several problems on a sheet of paper, on a page, so we're actually going to select them all, go to your menu, and then select drag a copy. And what that's going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to continually grab these numbers. Okay, that's what drag a copy will mean. Okay. Now let's set up a simple problem. Let's just go up here and let's go 4 times 3. Okay, hopefully everyone knows what 4 times 3 is. Okay, so there's the problem. Now you want the kids to, of course, come up here and put 12. Now I'm going to do this as separate containers so that the first container is going to accept a 1, the second container is going to accept a 2. Now, to do that, we're going to set up something called keywords. So while the browser is open, what I want to do is select each of my numbers. Now, again, this is the part that's a pain, but once you're done with this, then you can use this over and over again. So what I want to do is I'm going to select a 0, and I'm going to go up to identification, and I'm going to type in a 0. Then I'm going to select a 1, and I'm going to go up here and type in a 1, and so on. Okay, one more to do. Here's 9. I'm going to select 9. I'm going to go up to identification under keyword. I'm going to just simply type in a 9. Okay, so I have all my numbers labeled with keywords. That's very important. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is my container. So I'm just going to go up to my shapes. Now the first set of colors is going to be your border. So I'm going to use a greenish border, and I'm going to select this blank because I don't want to fill. I could have a fill, but I'm going to choose not to. And I'm just going to go with a rectangle. you want to make sure your container is big enough to contain the entire number, okay, or whatever object you want to contain. So again, I'm showing you with numbers, but this could also apply to pictures. It could apply to words. Same basic concept, but it has to be big enough to contain the object. So I have my container, and I'm just going to actually duplicate it then. Okay, and then I'm going to move it. Now, a couple rules about containers. Now, if I set this up, the container must be below what it needs to contain. Okay, so it kind of makes sense. Like, think of, if you want to fill a container with water, of course the container has to be below to be able to catch the water. Same thing with this, it has to be below. To be able to tell where this is at, where all the different levels, what you want to do is go to your object browser. And right now I see that my shapes are above all my text, and that's not going to work. If I don't move this, even if I set up everything correctly, it's not going to actually work until I drag this below all my text. Okay, so my containers must be below what it needs to contain. Okay, almost finished here. Select the container. So I want this to contain the number 1. So with the container selected, I'm going to go down to containers, and what I want it to contain is a keyword. And the keyword that it needs to contain is simply a 1. Okay? And now, the only thing that, if you want a reward sound, you can choose the reward sound. I'll do the reward sound for the second number. So it's going to contain a 1. Okay? And I would keep this as completely contained. Okay? So we have that one set up. I'm going to select my second box, and I'm going to have it contain a keyword. I need it to contain the number 2, and let's do a reward sound. So I'm going to go true. You can find your reward sound. Again, it can be any WAV files that are on your machine. So go on the internet and download WAV files and then place them here. So let's just do fanfare. Okay. So this is set up. So there's the only problem we want. Student would come up here, hopefully be able to drag a 1, and it's going to stay. Be able to pick up a 2, drag it in, let it go, and we'll get a reward sound. Okay? Now, a couple things you need to understand. Let me select this and get rid of this. Delete. Delete. First of all, when you're doing this, they have to make sure you put it clearly in the container. So if I place it like this, it's going to spit it back out. It has to be completely inside the container. Also, if you select this, you get this menu. This icon right here means freely move, meaning if I use this, let's actually go with the wrong answer. Okay, so if I select this and I use this tool to move, this is freely move object, meaning it's not going to return if it's not contained. So I can actually take this. So it's very important that your students do not use this tool to actually do the problem, because what this allows me to do is move everything, and it's going to stay here. It's going to stay wherever I drop it when I use that. Okay. Now the reason this is a nice tool to have is so that, yeah, if you put the restriction return if not contained, like if I wanted to move this 6, it's not in the proper location, as soon as I grab it, it's going to spit it back out. So if I want to move this to a different location, this is the tool that I would want to use. My entire group of numbers, and I'm going to take this entire set, I'm just going to drag it to this 4th page, and I'm going to let go. And what that does is I have it all ready for my next set of problems. So I can go up here and start right away. But all the numbers have all the same properties that we set up on the previous page.